Alright, here we go. I am going to pretty much finish this coil pot today. There won't be a lot of conversation. There'll be some, I'll probably speed it up. I don't know if anybody's even watching these videos, to be honest. You guys are probably just not even paying attention and just doing your own thing. If you're even doing anything, I don't know. Most of you are not even really checking in or showing me work, so, I mean, you can turn in work late, of course. Remember, you can turn stuff in late. If you've been making anything and working, you should show it to me. right, so that is pretty much complete. I need to clean up the rim, but the rim can't be cleaned up on the same day that I build it. Okay, it's just, this is all too soft. This is basically just worked on shaping. Notice how I use these ribs and scrapers. You don't have a metal scraper. I didn't have these to give out. You can make one of these out of a piece of metal. Maybe you have something at home that you can find, or you just have to use the ribs that I gave you. They will work, but just use, if you want to scrape more, use the flat edge, not the round edge. And I just kind of go slowly here, and I'm just using it to kind of scrape away the lumps, and it'll smooth it out real nice. And then the last thing, when it's all done, some people, they like to, when these are all completely dried out, take some sandpaper to them. You're welcome to do that as well. But this is essentially the end of coil pot making. We will have another project that'll be released maybe the end of the week, probably first thing next week, another project. These projects, right, all work can be turned in late. So the projects are done when you finish them and you turn them in. Work in progress, you should be submitting work in progress so I can see what you're doing. You should be showing me if you're having problems. You should be showing me where you're at. If things dried out, you gotta start over again, or you gotta really soak it in wet paper towels to bring it back to life. It can be done, but sometimes you develop cracks. It's not optimal. I am gonna fire projects. I'm gonna start firing projects this week and next week, loading and firing the kiln. Basically, I'm going to send everyone an email of when they can just drop their pots off at school outside, and then I'll bring them in and fire them. You'll just drop them off. There'll be a drop-off time in the back. You don't have to come into the school. You'll just drop them behind the ceramics room, and then I'll bring them in and fire them if you have something that you want to have fired. Anyone who's an underclassman, if there's something you want to do special to it, like glaze wise afterwards, we could do that next year. I haven't quite figured out about glazing. I don't know if we'll be able to glaze. It kind of depends on what happens in this state regarding gathering together in May, whether we're allowed to in small groups get together. We might be able to do small group ceramic glazing parties. I have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen. If not, we at least fire the stuff. Things can be painted with regular paint, so there's always that option. After something is fired, I could leave it for you, and you could paint it at home. You could spray paint them with super high gloss. They're just not very waterproof at that point. Really, glaze is best. So that's it for coil pots. We're done. Take care.